My mind's telling me no, but my body's telling me yes.
Yo, fam, word on the street is Robert finally stepped out them gates and the crowd wasted zero time running up on him. The man barely touched fresh air before the whole scene turned loud and chaotic fast. Buckle up, because what happened right after those jail doors opened felt like a straight movie scene. Cigar lounges, failed appeals, isolation drama, the whole thing. February 25th, 2019, Robert Kelly flipped an ordinary Monday upside down. After spending 4 days inside Cook County Jail over state abuse charges tied to 4 accusers, including 3 minors, a suburban Chicago woman posted his $100,000 bond. Around 5:25 that evening, the jail doors finally opened and Robert walked free, at least for the moment.
People have no idea that there's 2 different men, that there's the person, Robert, there's the persona, R. Kelly.
But what happened next still lives all over the internet today. He pulled off in a black van, and less than 30 minutes later, the ride stopped outside the famous rock and roll McDonald's in Chicago's River North neighborhood.
What are the lies that you're hearing that disturb you most?
Oh my God, all of them. Got little girls trapped in the basement.
Out of every place he could have gone, Robert stepped out chasing chicken nuggets and Big Macs. The man started signing autographs, shaking hands, and posing for selfies like it was some celebrity fan event. One supporter even yelled, "I love you," while he smiled and waved back. But trust me, the McDonald's stop wasn't even the wildest part.
Describing Lucifer. I'm not Lucifer. I'm a man. I make mistakes.
After the fast food run, the crew headed straight to Big's Mansion, an upscale cigar lounge sitting deep in Chicago's wealthy Gold Coast area. Robert spent hours inside smoking cigars and relaxing while his legal troubles exploded outside those doors. That whole timeline, jail release, McDonald's visit, then cigar lounge chilling, instantly became one of the biggest viral moments tied to his short-lived freedom. And the cigar moments kept coming. On Easter Sunday, April 21st, 2019, TMZ caught Robert outside his Trump Tower condo in Chicago, standing beside a Rolls Royce, smoking a massive cigar like he was starring in some crime drama.
I have been assassinated. I have been buried alive. But I'm alive.
He sat there talking on his phone, cool and unbothered, while headlines everywhere focused on his legal troubles and unpaid child support issues. Around that same period, Robert sat down with Gayle King for the now infamous CBS interview. When she asked which allegations upset him the most, things got heated fast. He denied everything, waved his arms around, and got emotional over being portrayed as a monster. That interview became legendary online because people couldn't stop comparing the emotional TV breakdown with clips of him casually grabbing burgers and smoking cigars days later.
Damn, 30 years of my career!
Robert.
30 years of my career! Y'all trying to kill me!
Years after those moments, the internet still drags those old clips back out because the contrast is wild.
I need somebody to help me not have a big heart.
One minute he looked carefree in luxury cars and cigar lounges. The next he's sitting in federal prison with a projected release date in 2045. That difference keeps feeding memes all over TikTok, Instagram Reels, X, and Facebook. Misinformation pages also keep recycling the old footage with fake captions claiming he escaped prison, got pardoned, or secretly walked free again. In 2024, PolitiFact had to step in and confirm Robert was still incarcerated after old 2019 videos started spreading with misleading stories attached. Some edited clips, even added fake subtitles and AI-generated prison music to make the rumors feel more believable.
My niece on the 26-minute tape.
The Trump Tower cigar footage especially keeps getting turned into memes whenever somebody online posts videos smoking oversized cigars. Even in April 2026, users on X were still joking about it non-stop.
There's a difference between R. Kelly and Robert. R. Kelly's this fun, laughing, loving guy. But Robert,
is the devil.
The McDonald's footage also keeps resurfacing because of claims discussed in the surviving R. Kelly documentary, where accusers alleged he approached teenage girls at McDonald's locations. So whenever release rumors pop up, those clips explode online again. Early 2026 was another frenzy after reports spread saying his projected release date was December 21st, 2045. TikToks and Reels immediately reposted the old cigar lounge footage with captions like, "This was him the last time he was free." Some accounts even pushed fake early release rumors before fact-checkers shut them down fast. Meanwhile, Robert's legal team kept fighting from every angle trying to crack open the case. Attorneys Jennifer Bonjean and Beau Brindley threw every possible appeal at the courts. His 2021 New York conviction brought a 30-year sentence tied to racketeering and trafficking charges. Then the 2022 Chicago conviction added another 20 years involving child-related production charges.
I could lend my voice to something that would highlight these young people who have been hurt,
with 1 extra year stacked consecutively. That leaves him facing an effective sentence of roughly 31 years and a projected release date in late 2045, when he'll be close to 79 years old. The appeals kept getting rejected one after another. On February 12th, 2025, the Second U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals upheld the New York conviction and full 30-year sentence. Judges ruled his arguments lacked merit and stated he abused his fame for decades. The Seventh Circuit also upheld the Chicago conviction. Then came the Supreme Court attempts. October 2024, denied. Another petition in May 2025, rejected again on June 23, 2025. That move practically slammed the door shut on direct appeals. Still, the legal team kept pushing hard. In August 2025, they filed a motion trying to disqualify the entire U.S. Attorney's Office from the case. Judge Martha Picold rejected it, calling the request extreme and unsupported. Then things got even crazier in June 2025. Robert's attorneys filed an emergency motion claiming 3 Bureau of Prisons officials were tied to an alleged murder-for-hire plot involving an Aryan Brotherhood inmate. They also accused prison staff of mail tampering and improper use of attorney-client information. Attorney Beau Brindley even held a press conference painting Robert as somebody exposing corruption inside the system. The team publicly appealed to President Trump for clemency while skipping normal legal channels. Judge Picold later rejected the request, explaining the court lacked jurisdiction because Robert was housed in North Carolina instead of Chicago. Prosecutors blasted the claims as fanciful and deeply unserious. The sentence itself still sparks major arguments online. Victim advocates say 30 years isn't enough considering the accusations stretched across decades and involved many accusers, including minors. Others argue the punishment is excessive for non-homicide crimes and question using RICO laws against a solo music artist instead of a traditional criminal organization. Then by February 2026, Robert landed in more trouble inside prison. Officials moved him into solitary confinement, known as the Special Housing Unit, at FCY Butner Medium 1 after a cell search uncovered a notebook containing the personal phone number of a retired prison official. Now here's where it gets complicated. Robert had reportedly been part of a prison mentoring program run by that retired official. Before retiring, the former warden allegedly gave Robert the number for advice connected to the program. Attorney Brindley argued the contact was legitimate, but prison officials treated it as a possible security concern, especially because the notebook was discovered during a contraband phone investigation. An internal investigation followed, and Robert got placed in the SHU as a precaution. According to Brindley, the conditions were brutal. Inmates there spend around 23 hours a day locked in cells with limited commissary access, restricted phone calls, almost no recreation, and reduced visitation privileges. Robert reportedly stayed isolated for about 2 weeks. By mid-March 2026, investigators concluded there was no wrongdoing and Robert returned to general population. Brindley criticized the isolation as unfair and unnecessary. Black Enterprise later covered the outcome, while the Bureau of Prisons declined public comment on internal security matters, which is standard policy. Online reactions turned into complete chaos. Supporters from the Free R. Kelly crowd flooded social media with conspiracy theories and outrage, posting comments like, "They always trying to mess with him," Critics and victims' advocates responded with sarcasm, indifference, and reminders about the convictions. But this February 2026 solitary confinement drama wasn't even the first issue Robert faced behind bars. The deeper prison stories get even messier. Beatdowns, alleged plots, protective housing requests, and non-stop chaos followed him through the federal system. Since entering federal custody in July 2019, Robert's prison experience has sounded like a non-stop drama series. He first landed at the Metropolitan Correctional Center in downtown Chicago, where problems reportedly started almost immediately. Soon after arriving, Robert ended up inside the SHU again. His attorneys claimed the move lacked justification, but other reports suggested he personally requested protective housing because he feared other inmates. Given the nature of the charges against him, solitary reportedly felt safer. By September 2019, attorney Stephen Greenberg confirmed Robert had been moved out of isolation and either placed in general population or assigned a cellmate. Prosecutors later pointed to court filings showing he shared a cell for part of his stay, pushing back against claims that he faced nonstop, unjust isolation. Even before the verdicts came down, the situation inside prison was already turning messy, and both sides were battling hard to control the public narrative. Then came August 2020, the moment Robert hit headlines after getting jumped in prison. While he was either asleep or sitting on his bunk inside MCC Chicago, another inmate named Jeremiah Shane Farmer allegedly rushed into the cell and attacked him. Farmer was a convicted Latin Kings member already serving life for a double murder. Reports said Farmer punched Robert several times in the head and body before guards stepped in. One officer even used pepper spray after verbal commands failed. Robert suffered cuts, bruises, and minor injuries, but nothing considered life-threatening. The attack happened during heavy lockdown periods tied to COVID restrictions and protests connected to Robert's case. Afterward, prison officials moved him into the SHU, solitary housing, for protection. His attorneys immediately argued the prison couldn't keep him safe and demanded bail release. Then the story got even crazier. Farmer later filed a handwritten motion claiming prison staff basically encouraged the attack to create attention around his own legal issues. He alleged guards watched the assault for a while before stepping in. Prosecutors and prison officials strongly denied those accusations, calling them baseless. At that time, MCC Chicago already had a terrible reputation for violence, staffing shortages, and poor conditions. Robert's lawyers used the incident heavily in court, but every bail request still got denied. By early 2023, Robert was transferred to FCI Butner Medium 1 in North Carolina, where another huge controversy exploded in June 2025. Shortly after his attorneys filed an emergency motion seeking temporary release or home confinement, Robert got thrown back into the SHU. The filing claimed prison officials were involved in an alleged murder-for-hire plot using an Aryan Brotherhood inmate. His team also accused officials of mail tampering and improperly accessing attorney-client information. Then came the biggest shocker. Robert's lawyers claimed prison staff gave him an overdose amount of anxiety and sleep medication while he was isolated. According to the filing, he collapsed in his cell, lost consciousness, and got rushed by ambulance to Duke University Hospital in North Carolina. Doctors reportedly treated him for blood clots in his lungs, and he stayed hospitalized for about 2 days. His legal team later claimed he was removed from the hospital against medical advice and sent straight back to solitary confinement. Robert reportedly became paranoid about food afterward and compared his fears to Jeffrey Epstein's death in custody. Attorney Bo Brindley publicly framed the situation as corruption inside the prison system and even appealed directly to President Trump for clemency. The team claimed Trump was one of the only people willing to challenge alleged corruption tied to celebrity prosecutions. Still, none of it changed the outcome. Around June 19th and 20th, 2025, Judge Martha Pacol denied the release request, saying the court lacked jurisdiction and finding no legal basis for emergency relief. Prosecutors blasted the allegations as fanciful and deeply unserious. Even with all the prison drama, Robert reportedly kept making music behind bars. TMZ reported in March 2025 that he was still singing during podcast calls from prison, and clips surfaced online showing him performing for fellow inmates while his attorneys fought in court claiming his life was in danger. That contrast had social media going wild. Throughout all these incidents, one pattern stayed consistent. Robert's legal team described his SHU placements as retaliation, unsafe treatment, or abuse connected to release efforts. Prosecutors and prison officials pushed back, calling most of the situations standard prison protocol. The 2020 prison assault remains the main publicly confirmed physical attack involving Robert while incarcerated. Most of his time in solitary reportedly came from protective custody, investigations, or disputes tied to his legal filings rather than disciplinary violations. Supporters online treated the 2025 hospitalization and isolation claims like proof of corruption inside the prison system. Critics saw it as exaggerated legal strategy after his appeals kept failing. Either way, none of the filings changed the bigger reality. Every appeal got denied, every emergency request failed, and his projected release date stayed locked at December 21st, 2045. But the deeper question is how Robert ended up there in the first place. The legal troubles that brought him down stretched back decades. Robert Sylvester Kelly, born in 1967, rose from Chicago's South Side to become one of the biggest names in R&B history. Songs like I Believe I Can Fly and Ignition Remix made him a global star. But alongside the fame, allegations of misconduct followed him for years. One of the earliest major controversies came in 1994, when Robert married singer Aaliyah, who was 15 at the time while he was 27. Reports later revealed a false marriage certificate listed her age as 18. The marriage was eventually annulled. Over the years, more lawsuits and accusations surfaced involving underage girls. By 2002, authorities were investigating a leaked videotape allegedly involving Robert and a 14-year-old girl, launching the legal saga that would follow him for decades. He was eventually charged in Illinois with 21 counts tied to child-related allegations. But in 2008, Robert's Chicago state trial ended with acquittals on all 14 counts after the alleged victim and her family refused to testify. Defense witnesses, including the girl's father, questioned whether she was even the person shown in the tape. Still, the controversy never disappeared. Singer Sparkle, one of the prosecution's key witnesses, insisted the girl in the video was her own niece. The fallout split her family apart for years. Media outlets like the Chicago Sun-Times kept covering the story non-stop, and reporter Katie Chaney even appeared alongside Sparkle on TV to discuss the case publicly. Then the hashtag #MeToo era completely reignited everything. Between 2017 and 2018, women including Jerhonda Pace and Kitty Jones came forward with disturbing allegations involving coercion, manipulation, physical abuse, starvation, and controlling behavior. Former associates also claimed Robert's team recruited young-looking girls and women at malls, concerts, and even McDonald's locations. The biggest explosion came in January 2019 when Lifetime released the 6-part documentary Surviving R. Kelly, produced by Dream Hampton. The series featured multiple accusers describing an environment they compared to a controlling system with strict rules about eating, leaving rooms, or even using the bathroom. The documentary became a cultural firestorm, pulling in over 26 million viewers. Major celebrities started distancing themselves from Robert fast. John Legend publicly supported the documentary and defended his decision to appear in it. Robert's ex-wife, Drea Kelly, also spoke out, describing painful experiences from their marriage and saying she hid bruises while performing on stage. The hashtag #MuteRKelly movement hit the music industry hard. Boycotts spread everywhere. Spotify and Apple Music reduced promotion of his music, and RCA Records eventually dropped him completely. Robert fired back with a 19-minute song called I Admit, where he denied allegations while raising even more eyebrows online. Then came July 2019, when federal prosecutors stepped in with racketeering and trafficking charges. Authorities accused Robert of running a long-term operation spanning decades involving manipulation, transportation across state lines, isolation tactics, and abuse involving girls and young women. His 2021 Brooklyn federal trial lasted 6 weeks and included testimony from over 40 witnesses, including multiple accusers using fake names for protection. Several described grooming that allegedly started when they were teenagers, along with abuse, intimidation, and strict control over daily life. After only about 9 hours of deliberation, the jury convicted Robert on all 9 counts, including racketeering and Mann Act violations. He received a 30-year sentence. Then in 2022, another Chicago trial focused on child-related video allegations and accusations involving minors from the late 1990s and early 2000s. A woman connected to the infamous 2002 tape testified Robert allegedly groomed her beginning at age 13 while acting like a trusted mentor figure. The jury convicted him on 6 out of 13 counts, including child pornography production and enticement charges. He received another 20-year sentence, mostly running alongside the New York sentence. The judge described his actions as calculated and carried out over decades with indifference to human suffering. The damage to Robert's career was massive. Major labels, tours, and mainstream support disappeared almost overnight. Some platforms further limited promotion of his music. But strangely enough, the convictions also caused a temporary spike in streams and album sales, with music consumption reportedly jumping over 20% after the 2021 verdict. Even behind bars, Robert has stayed musically active. In March 2025, reports surfaced about a remix tied to the Residual Challenge allegedly recorded from FCY Butner. Then in early 2026, clips of him singing over Chris Brown's It Depends spread online, with Teddy Riley and Chris Brown reacting positively on Instagram. Robert has also claimed during prison phone interviews that he's written around 25 albums while incarcerated, saying music remains something he can't walk away from no matter what happens. Most of the so-called new R. Kelly music supposedly coming from prison, including fake gospel projects like A Prisoner's Prayer or Holy Jesus, has turned out to be AI-generated or fan-made content. Fact checkers like AFP have already exposed several viral prison music videos for using fake voices, edited visuals, and artificial audio. Back in 2022, a bootleg album titled I Admit It briefly popped up on streaming platforms, but it was unauthorized and quickly removed after Robert's team distanced themselves from it. Throughout his incarceration, Robert has continued claiming he's innocent. He's repeatedly argued the allegations were fueled by extortion attempts, media pressure, and social media outrage. His legal team has also insisted prosecutors stretched the RICO laws too far and failed to prove key parts of the case. In a March 2025 appearance on the Inmate Tea with A&P podcast, Robert sang snippets of songs like When a Woman's Fed Up and Bump and Grind. He described music as something he still works on daily behind bars, claimed he's written around 25 albums in prison, and said he's staying patient while continuing to fight for release. Public opinion around him is still deeply divided. Supporters see his interviews and prison performances as proof he refuses to break. Critics see the same moments as manipulative and disconnected from the testimony presented during trial. Every new update about Robert instantly sparks memes, arguments, and fake release rumors across social media. But despite all the online noise, the reality hasn't changed. His projected release date remains December 2045. Every major appeal has failed. Every emergency motion has been denied. Those flashy cigar lounge clips from 2019 may keep circulating online forever, but Robert won't be stepping outside prison walls anytime soon. The internet keeps talking, the old footage keeps resurfacing, and the debates never really stop. If you made it this far, make sure you hit like, subscribe, and share this video so you don't miss the next breakdown. And tap the card on the screen for more wild stories and updates coming your way.